Gone of India, it seems, because this is a phone that effectively costs nothing, zero. Reliance is basically giving you this phone for free if you take a plan that it bundles along with. Uh, you don't have to pay anything for this phone at the end of 3 years. It's a smart feature phone, the smartest feature phone that you can get in the market right now. Now, of course, there have been a couple of more feature phones that have come up after the JioPhone, namely from Micromax.
The Bharat one.
The Bharat one is one example. But the JioPhone is the one that started it all. It's a feature phone, but it's the smartest of them all. Why? Because it is India's first feature phone that supports 4G LTE connectivity, which means that you can put in a 4G SIM in this phone. It will run 4G at 4G speeds. Of course, it will give you 4G connectivity and it will give you access to internet.
Exactly, and you can watch TV, you can stream
Yes.
music, you can access applications and even the internet. I mean, these are things that nobody associates with feature phones,
Yes.
and this is something that you will find on the JioPhone.
On a feature phone, you can get full access to full internet. You can watch movies, you can watch TV shows, you can listen to music,
You can even speak to the JioPhone.
and you can even speak to the JioPhone. There is so much happening in this phone, and yet it's a feature phone. I mean, at this point of time, it's not even fine to call it a feature phone. It's a
Exactly.
smart feature phone.
I mean,
actually.
many people associate feature phones with Nokias that have a torch and an FM radio, and that is the extent of features that they come with.
True.
I mean, having a micro SD card used to be a big deal back then, and even Nokia's current feature phones
Yeah.
have the same.
They don't have 3G. The
They don't have 3G. The
3310
3310
that was launched recently does not give you 3G. This phone, which costs practically nothing, gives you 4G LTE connectivity, which is kind of fantastic.
But we will talk about how it actually does cost something in the long run. Being
Let's-
free is a moniker.
Let's totally look at the design of this feature phone first. Yes, it's a feature phone. It's not a smartphone. It's not very beautiful or out there like the iPhone or the Samsung Note 8 or something like that. But it's a feature phone. It's all plastic, as you can see. It's a fairly well built feature phone.
And I mean, I think like all feature phones, it's very rugged, and I think you
Yeah.
can throw it around. You can put it in a bag.
Yes.
There's no need to put a case on it or a screen guard on it.
Yes. The back is removable. We'll quickly open it for you.
It's a little tough getting it out.
Yeah, it's a feature phone, so the back panel is removable. The battery is also removable, so it's a feature phone, so it gives you removable battery. So if this phone hangs or stutters or something like that, you know what to do. It's a feature
and
phone.
if you're really old school, you can get 2 or 3 batteries and keep them in your
Yes.
bag.
Uh, this is a single SIM phone. Unlike there are other feature phones in the market
And
that
the
support
Bharat one
dual
that just
SIM.
launched, it's a dual SIM phone.
Yes, there are feature phones in the market that come with dual SIM, but the primary reason why the JioPhone is a single SIM phone because it's a carrier locked phone.
Exactly.
It runs only Jio SIMs. There are reports that Jio Reliance will eventually come with a feature phone with 2 SIM cards. But right now, the phones that Jio is shipping supports only 1 SIM card, which is a Jio SIM card.
Yeah, and even the dual SIM versions that will be launched in the future, if they are launched,
Yes.
the main SIM will be locked to Jio.
Yes, they should be because that is how Reliance is operating at the moment.
That is how their whole model.
We'll have to
works.
see how things pan out, but right now this is a totally a carrier locked phone. You cannot run any other SIM card in this phone. Good thing is that it also supports expandable storage. So it comes with 4 GB
Yeah,
of
4 GB storage,
internal
and you
storage.
can expand it with a micro SD card of up to 128 gigabytes,
Yes,
which is
that's-
quite great.
That's fantastic. So if you're someone who stores a lot of music, who listens to a lot of music and saves a lot of MP3 files, I think 128 GB of
Yeah,
storage.
there are some smartphones in the market, I won't name them,
Yeah.
that only support up to 32 GB of storage.
Yes.
Yeah, and this supports 128 GB for
Yes.
free.
Yes, so there's 128 GB of storage. So everything is inside actually. This phone also supports NFC. This is, I think,
Remarkable for this.
this is, I have no words because this feature phone supports NFC. It will support mobile payments in the days to come. Reliance has said that it will come out with a firmware update for this phone, and eventually the feature will start rolling out on this phone. Right now it doesn't support mobile payments, but in future it will.
I mean, and put this into perspective for you, a majority of the smartphones that we review here at India Today Tech under rupees 10,000
Don't have NFC.
do not come with NFC.
Yes.
And this phone has NFC, and it's not even a smartphone.
Yeah. And this is one of the key highlights of this phone. Reliance has been banking heavily on this fact that this phone will support mobile payments and push for digital India, and that's kind of fantastic. But an all plastic body like any other feature phone in the market. But good thing is that it's been built well. It looks like it can take a beating, and it supports micro USB 2.0 port, which is on the right. So you'll have to have a charger. So these people are shipping a charger in the box with a micro USB port. So this is how you're going to charge this phone.
I mean, that's also good from old feature phones of old,
Yes.
which had proprietary chargers. So this, you can use any old micro USB cable
Yes.
lying around to charge the phone.
Yeah. So on the front, there's a T9 keyboard. Obviously, because it's a feature phone, you get a keypad. There's no touch screen, and it's an alphanumeric keypad.
And there's a 2.4-inch display on the
A
front.
2.4-inch color display is what you get. Now there are many feature phones out there that still come with a black and white display. Now this one gives you a full color display. As you can see, it's loading up. You can see Kai OS out there. So Kai OS is the software that's inside the JioPhone.
It's not Android. It's an
It's not
offshoot
Android.
of
Firefox.
OS.
So Reliance is using a custom fork of Firefox OS. It's a geeky term if you have only heard about Android and iOS or Windows Phone for that matter. But KaiOS is what this phone runs, and it's totally different from what other feature phones come with, what other Android phones come with, and what other iPhones come with. It's totally different from the inside. The phone has been built from grounds up for multimedia consumption. So there are 4 or 5 apps that Jio is putting inside pre-bundled with this phone to watch movies,
Yeah.
to watch TV shows.
Jio
to,
TV, Jio
Yeah.
Cinema, Jio Music, Jio Games.
Yes. And the phone does not have an app store yet, but there are reports that Jio is working on one.
Yeah, so that is one thing you have to be careful when you go into it. There is no WhatsApp, there is no Facebook as
Yes.
of now. But there are reports coming that Reliance is working on a version of the
Yes.
phone with WhatsApp.
So if you
There is a version of chat application on the phone, isn't there, sort of, on the phone?
Yes, so that's a Geo custom app. I mean, everything that is inside this phone is Geo custom built. So, you know, if you buy one of these phones, and if there are people in your family or friends who have the Geo phone, I think it's you know, Geo phone gives you everything. It gives you a chat app. It gives you the calling, of course.
And I think the chat app can also be downloaded by anyone who has a Jio SIM card on a smartphone
Yes,
as well. So
yes.
you can chat
All
cross
those-
platform as well.
Yes, all those apps are available in the Play Store as well, so you can get them on Android as well. It's a 2.4-inch color screen. Now, it's hard to understand how a 4G, how a feature phone with a 2.4-inch screen can, be enjoyable while streaming content. But JioPhone is a very cheap alternative for an entry-level smartphone, and Jio is bundling this with its proprietary apps, and the fact that it's giving you all these features out of the box is I think at the end of the day is what matters. Now we'll quickly show you through some of the apps that the JioPhone ships with. Now there's of course the My Jio app. The My Jio app is basically it's loading. So it has everything right from your connectivity details, your SIM card details, to all the apps that the phone comes with. So there's My Jio, which is basically your account, your SIM card account, from where you can also recharge and add data to your Jio phone. There's Jio TV that gives you TV channels. There is Jio Cinema that lets you watch movies, and there's Jio Express that you can use to read news, of course. So the best part about the Jio phone is that it comes with a Jio 4G SIM in the box. So of course, when you're going to buy it from a shop, you'll have to get it activated. Our review unit didn't come with an activated SIM, so I've just put in my own SIM and using it. Reliance is pushing for just one recharge plan for now,
Yeah,
for
exactly.
the JioPhone. It will cost you rupees 153. The 153 plan gives you unlimited voice calling over LTE because
Unlimited messaging.
unlimited messaging. No, I think there's 300 messages. There are
300
300
messages per month.
Yes,
Okay.
there are 300 messages, and there's 512 MB of data every day.
Okay.
So if you happen to consume the 512 MB of data, your speed will go down drastically.
Exactly.
But for 153, I think 512 MB of data per day, and when you calculate for it
It's
for
15 GB.
28 days, I think it's a substantial amount
Exactly.
for 153 rupees. The best part is calling is totally free on this phone. The data will not be exhausted when you're calling people, which is fantastic. Data will only be exhausted when you're watching a movie or a TV show or streaming music on this phone. There are a couple of games also, but even these games have been designed in a way that you have to stream them over the internet.
Yeah, so that is the biggest caveat of this phone, and in a way a plus of this phone.
Mhm.
So the way this phone is able to stream such heavy content like movies, music on in hardware which is not very powerful is that it offloads everything to the server. That is, it streams everything. So movies, music, games, everything is streamed from the cloud. So while that is a very good strategy to consume such content on such a low end phone, it also uses a lot of data. For example, even when you're playing games, there is no option to download the game onto your phone. So every single time you play a game, you have to wait 5 minutes till the data is downloaded onto your phone.
Mhm.
And every time you play the game, for example, if a game is 50 MB in size, that 50 MB will be downloaded to your phone every single time you play the game. So that is a content strategy that Jio is adopting in order to, earn some money, because they are
Yeah.
giving the phone away for free. So it's the data that they are, earning money from. So that is a content strategy.
As you
from
can
Jio.
see, the game is still loading, and it takes
It takes a long time to
time.
load the game.
The same is not true about the movies and the TV app. The TV and the movies app load almost instantaneously, which is, I think, fantastic.
And the music, the best part about the music app, as someone who reviews a lot of audio products here, is that you expect very bad audio quality, but no. In the music app, you have the option
See.
from low audio quality to very high, and the very high bitrate is quite good, and the music quality is very good.
Yeah.
As the phone has Bluetooth, you can also use your Bluetooth headphones with this. I mean, just a few minutes ago, before this live video started, I was using 6,000 rupees, 6,500 Bluetooth headphones with a phone that is effectively free. That is something which is amazing.
Now, as you can see, I just opened the Jio Cinema app. It loaded in an instant. I opened a movie. It's starting now. Of course, in the beginning, it's going to take a little time. But that is also dependent upon the data. Maybe I've exhausted all my data, is why I think it's slow. But even movies and TV shows are really quick to load, and the best part is there is almost no buffering. All
Which
these,
really surprised us.
yeah, I mean, all these movies and TV shows you can enjoy without buffering, and which is remarkable for a feature phone.
And what really surprised me is that if you turn on a movie and you play music in the background, and the movie pauses to buffer in an instance, or if you pause the movie, the music plays in the background, which shows that this small little phone has multitasking capabilities.
Yeah.
So the music plays in the background while the movie is paused. I mean, I did not expect that from this phone. I thought that it will handle only one app at a time. So that is something I did not expect, and I mean, this shows that the JioPhone is actually quite powerful.
It is for a feature phone, and it's very functional. The best part is that everything on it works except the software.
Yeah.
The software is a little slow. It takes a little time to do stuff in the beginning, or probably when you're doing a couple of things together. But overall, I think for a feature phone, it's you can excuse all those limitations and things. Those are not really weaknesses.
And it's not just the software; it's just the speed. Navigating around the UI is a bit slow,
Yeah.
especially if you're going to if you're navigating throughout the settings menu and you want to change few things at once. It gets a bit frustrating at times.
Mhm.
But thankfully, that lag is not seen while typing messages.
Hmm.
So there is no keyboard lag.
No.
And so that is something, even in the Jio text messaging app or in the Jio chat app, there is no lag while typing messages. So that is something to take notice of.
Now, another key highlight of this phone is that it comes with a built-in virtual assistant. Now, if you're into Android, you know that Android phones ship with Google Assistant that let you do stuff on the phone by just speaking to the phone. Now, Reliance has shipped a custom version of a virtual assistant on this phone. It's called Hello Geo, and I'll quickly fire it up for you. So what it does is you can actually speak to the phone to make it do stuff. You don't have to type in every time. So when it's activated, you can just sorry, it just picked up my name, picked up what I said. So it's processing now. It's a little slow, the virtual assistant, but it works.
And it's accurate.
It works. I mean, I have opened apps using this service. I have called people. I have even opened a web page using this. So see, it gives you all these options that you can do. You can call someone, you can SMS someone, you can use the browser, you can say Geo Music to open the app, Geo Cinema to open the app. So basically, all these things come pre-bundled inside this phone, and it works. I mean, yes, these things are a little slow to begin with, but they work, and when they work well. Is what is surprising for this phone. Another thing about the content part is I forgot is that although Reliance is giving you just 512 MB of high-speed data per day, it's letting you stream these services over Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Now the JioPhone comes with Wi-Fi. It doesn't give you Wi-Fi hotspot ability. You cannot be using this phone to play as a hotspot to run internet on other devices. But this phone comes with Wi-Fi. So if you have a Wi-Fi connection at home, you don't have to worry about exhausting your mobile data. You can simply put it to off, and you can turn on your Wi-Fi and use all these services, the Geo Cinema, the Geo TV, the Geo Music over Wi-Fi.
And think about it in this way. This phone comes with Bluetooth, with Wi-Fi, with NFC,
Yes.
and a competitor like the Nokia 3310 comes with 2G, not even 3G, and 4G voice over LTE as well. So I mean, in terms of the feature set, the amount of features Jio has bundled into a small little feature phone is quite extraordinary.
Too many features for the price. In fact, the price which is nothing, to say the least.
So sort of, how are the cameras?
The cameras, so this phone gives you cameras as well. It's a feature phone and it gives you cameras because one of the other features of this phone is that it should support video calling over 4G. So on the back, the phone comes with a 2 megapixel camera. On the front, it's a VGA camera. Not outstanding specs, but it's a feature phone. A 2 megapixel camera on the back should suffice. It's not a phone or a camera that will replace a DSLR or a slightly more expensive Android phone. It's a camera that you will use for probably taking a quick shot of something that you would like to refer to later. For instance, I don't know, some pamphlets, some information, random shots that will look good on this phone, won't do you any good outside.
Exactly, and
But
I think this is the first feature phone to come with a front-facing camera.
there's a VGA camera on this. I'm not too sure about whether it's the first or not, but it gives you a VGA camera because it also comes with an app called Geo Video Calling, which lets you video call people.
The very fact that you can video call on a phone
Yes.
that is so cheap is something. Again.
Yeah, and again you can use all these services via Wi-Fi, which is fantastic. All in all, there's FM radio as well, and not many Android phones give you FM radio these days. There's an inbuilt browser. There's an inbuilt browser that you can use to browse the internet. As you can see, it's currently set to Google as the default search engine. There's also Bing inside. There are a number of search engines that you can choose manually from the settings. Browsing can be a little cumbersome because it's a feature phone. The cursor that the phone gives you can be a little hassle while navigating, which is pretty obvious. But then, for a quick round of browsing, I think at least it gives you the feature. Also, although this phone does not support the Facebook app, you can browse Facebook using the browser. So if you have a Facebook account, you can go onto Google, log in Facebook, and check your social media, even Twitter for that matter. WhatsApp is the only thing that is not going to work for now. And if you're someone who is heavily invested in WhatsApp, who does a lot of WhatsApp messages, I think this phone is not meant for you because there's no WhatsApp on this phone.
And I think the lack of WhatsApp is the biggest thing letting this phone down right now because
Yes.
in India WhatsApp has replaced text messaging and even calling as a number one means of communication.
Yeah.
So I guess if WhatsApp was on this phone, it would have been a complete
The complete package. True, true. As I've quickly gone on to the settings, there's another feature that this phone comes with is screen lock. Now, feature phones do give you screen locks, but okay, this is not different. Sorry, this is just like any other screen lock, so nothing special about that. So there's one more thing that it comes with. So it lets you not track websites and applications while you are browsing the internet. Now this means that every time you browse the internet, apps and services, websites are constantly on the hunt of your activity, and then they give you targeted ads based on what you're searching, what you're going through. Now, if you don't want that, if you're really if you're very privacy centric, then this feature will let you block these websites from tracking your activity. And there's also quickly one more thing that I would like to tell you guys. The call log on this phone is a little different from the call logs of other feature phones. Now, mostly in other feature phones, the only way to get your contacts, add your contacts, is by manually doing that. This phone lets you migrate your contacts from Gmail, Google, and Outlook, which is fantastic. So if you have a Gmail account, if you have your accounts, if you have your contacts synced to your Google account, you can manually add contacts from your Google account to this phone via the browser. Similar is the case with Outlook as well. So you can get your contacts on this phone loaded in an instant, because previously you had to do that manually for every contact, and feature phones are not the most user friendly when putting in contacts and phone numbers.
So so let's talk about now the pricing and whether
Yeah.
it makes sense to buy this phone over cheap smartphones that have come in the market, like the Carbon Indian A40.
Yes.
And whether it makes sense to buy a feature phone at this price range, or should you go for a cheap Android smartphone that will give you things like WhatsApp.
So as I said in the beginning, the JioPhone was the one that actually started it all. There is another feature phone in the market, the Bharat one, which we have, by the way, which we will be doing a live on pretty soon. The Carbon A40 Indian is a smartphone that Airtel has come up with. Airtel has similarly come up with another phone called Cellcon Smart 4G. Vodafone has come out with its own phone. So there are a couple of options, interesting options, that are giving you a phone, a feature phone or a smartphone, effectively at nothing. So it's very first and foremost, you have to be very careful about the term effective. Now, effectively is something on face and something on paper. There are totally different things. I'll start with the JioPhone. Now, Reliance says that it's offering the JioPhone to customers at an effective price of ₹0, which means it's basically giving you the phone for free. But actually, that is not the case.
Not true.
This phone is not free because nothing is free. This is a carrier locked phone, so it comes with a Jio 4G SIM card, and if you have to buy this phone, you have to get the Jio 4G SIM card,
and you have to pay the monthly fee of
and
₹150.
yes, and you have to invest in a plan. Right now, there's a 153 plan. Jio also has a number of other plans that are not exclusive to the Jio phone, but are but still you can use those. You can get those plans for this. So it has the three plans that are above 300 rupees. As a
399 plan.
yeah, there are all those plans. You can use those plans in the Jio phone as well. But
the
basic,
minimum 153 is the minimum. You have
Yes,
to opt for
yes.
that. I mean, there is no way that you can get a cheaper plan for 50 rupees or for
Yes.
30 rupees.
yes,
Like,
there are sachets, but those are for data consumption.
those are top up sachets
Yes.
if you finish your data or if you consume your
Yeah.
daily allowance.
So to effectively get the Jio phone for free, there are a few things that you have to do. First of all, you have to go into the market. Right now, these phones aren't available in the market. Jio is just started shipping them. These phones went up on pre-orders. Then there have been delays. Jio has been, late in delivering these phones to end users, but slowly and steadily the Jio phones are being delivered now, and people are getting it. More people will get it in future. So the catch is that Jio will take rupees 1,500 from you. 500 it took during the pre-ordering session. 1,000 is going to take when you go and get your phone from the Jio store around you. So in all, 1,500 rupees is a security refundable deposit that you will have to give in order to buy this phone. So there's 1,500 rupees. Then there's a plan that you will have to take. The 153 plan is the bare minimum.
Exactly, and it's not optional.
And it's not optional. You will have to buy at least a 153. Of course, it gives you a lot of things for that
exactly.
price.
And obviously, you have to bear in mind that if you buy another feature phone, you have to pay something for data services and voice calling. So it's not as if they're taking 153 for nothing.
Yeah. So to get this phone effectively at rupees 0, you will have to spend 1,500 in the beginning. Then you will have to spend 153 continuously for 36 months. For 3 years, you will have to invest 153 rupees, which amounts to rupees 5,508 rupees when you calculate. To get this phone at an effective price of 0, you will have to return the phone to Jio after 3 years. The security deposit that Jio will take from you, the 1,500 rupees, it's going to take it, give it to you back.
To you.
So overall, the price what you will be paying for 3 years is 5,508 rupees, and you will return the device back to Jio. This is not a device that you can call your own. If you don't want to give the device back to Jio, if you want to keep it, you will have to, of course, leave your 1,500 security deposit, which then means that you will be charged a total of 7,008 rupees for 3 years to use the JioPhone, but then that won't technically make this phone a free package.
Is that even an option? Can you keep the device after 3 years?
Jio hasn't categorically said anything about this, but all it has said is that it's going to take the device and give you 1,500 rupees. We'll have to wait and watch whether there is an option that you can keep this phone after 3 years and not get that phone money as well. But the whole point of this phone being effectively free is to give the phone back to Jio and take 1,500 rupees. So that's the catch.
And I think Jio is also giving some money back if you return it after a year or two.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's 500 rupees after 1 year and 1,000 rupees after 2 years. If you return it after a year, you get 500 rupees back from the security deposit.
Okay.
And after 2 years, you get 1,000 rupees back from the 1,500 security deposit. Only if you return it after a full 36 months, that is 3 years, you get the whole security deposit back.
So this is all the calculations and mathematics around the JioPhone. It's not technically available for free, although effectively it is.
See, the only thing about the JioPhone is it depends on your monthly usage. If your monthly usage is, your monthly plan that you use is above 150 rupees, then the JioPhone is free for you.
Yeah.
Because if you buy another feature phone and you'll end up spending 150 rupees on calls and data, then you will be spending exactly the same amount on JioPhone per month, and you will pay nothing for the phone. But if you're that kind of user, and there are many people who spend less than 150 per month on their calling, data and SMS, who like to recharge for 80 rupees or 70 rupees, who don't like to spend that much on their mobiles monthly. For them, the JioPhone is a little dicey affair, because there is no plan below 150. So for that, you can look at other options. Now the second thing that you need to see is whether you should invest in a feature phone like this, or whether you should go for a low price smartphone. Now both me and Saurabh have a little different take on this. Now I think that it is better to buy a feature phone than to buy a cheap smartphone, because the feature phone like the JioPhone has been designed for this price point. The software in this has been designed for the hardware, so even after 3 years this phone will work exactly as it does right now. While Android is an operating system that has not been designed for low-end hardware. If you buy a phone like Airtel Indian A40, it has very low-end specifications. Now after 3 years, you can decide for yourself, judge for yourself, how will Android run on a phone that has such low-end hardware. So in my opinion, it will be much better to get a feature phone which has been designed to run on hardware like this, which has been designed to run on designed to run on something which is so cheap, it will, because it will give you much better and much more stress-free experience. What do you think, Saurabh?
No, no, true. That is a very valid point because smartphones, under 10,000, under 5,000 rupees, are not the best as far as user experience is concerned. Uh, they will eventually slow down, but then every other phone slows down over time. Feature phones not so much because feature phones are very basic phones. They are not meant for hardcore multitasking and stuff that is going to consume a lot of RAM and storage and stuff like that. The Jio's phone is a classic example. This phone comes with 512 MB of RAM and 4 GB of storage. But then everything that you need out of this phone comes pre-bundled inside the
Exactly.
phone. You don't need anything else.
And there isn't even an app store, so you can't fill it with junk even if you want to.
Yes. So the fact that you won't be packing this phone with junk from any app store really works for this phone, which should technically entail in this phone running smooth for a longer time, which is the case with any other feature phone for that matter. But coming to the JioPhone, it was a mystery. I think a couple of months back because people weren't too sure about whether this phone exists, whether it is just on paper, whether the hardware and the stuff that Jio is claiming that this phone will come with are all just on paper. And now that the phone is with us and now that the phone has started shipping to people, there's a lot more to it actually. I think most of the promises that Reliance has claimed, has done with the JioPhone, I think most of these promises have been met. I wish that they would come with plans that are a little more cheaper than this,
Exactly.
because this phone at the end of the day is meant for very entry level users, people who are into feature phones and who would like to explore the internet and stuff like voice calling and video calling for the first time. And for people like that, I think a plan that is around 100 rupees or
Yeah, I mean,
below
150
is
can be a little bit of stretch.
yes, I think it's something that is what Jio must consider. But as far as the Jio phone is concerned,
And I guess they can work a little bit on the software speed as
yes,
well.
maybe the second generation would be better. Is all
Or
we
maybe
can
a
hope.
firmware can also fix it.
Yes, true. But as far as the Jio phone is concerned, we at India Today Tech have been fairly surprised.
Yeah.
Surprise is
the best word
best
to summarize
word
the phone.
to summarize this phone, because this phone works, and this phone works very well. I mean, I've watched HD channels on. I mean, that's the
Oh
most.
yeah, this has HD channels on it.
There are practically the whole bundle is unlocked on this, and you can watch HD. I mean, yeah. So HD won't be able to make a difference, but this phone can run even HD channels, and which is fantastic. If you have Wi-Fi, I don't think you even need a TV these days with these kind of phones out there in the market. This is a good first attempt from Jio, and hopefully it is able to deliver. So there are reports that 6 million pre-orders have been received for this phone, and hopefully Reliance will be able to deliver to all these 6 million people, because it has given a promise, and it would be nice if all these phones are there out in the market to prove the point what Reliance is hoping to make. This was India Today Tech. Thanks for watching.